The importance of pulling permits on your project. In this video, we delve into the significance of pulling permits for your project. Whether you're involved in construction, renovation, or any other type of project, understand that the power and necessity of permits are essential. Join us as we outline the crucial steps that you must take to ensure a successful and compliant project. From obtaining proper permits to navigating the regulatory landscape, we provide invaluable insight and tips. Don't miss out on learning how permits can empower your next project. So, what exactly is a permit? It's an official document granted by the relevant authorities that allows you to begin the construction or renovation of a project. It ensures that your plans meet certain safety and standard regulations. So, in my experience, when dealing with permits come in all different kind of ways. But when you're doing a new construction project, a lot of the times the smaller permits aren't necessary. When you're doing a new construction project, all the permits that you get from your initial submittal usually cover all of the work that's going to be done in a new construction project. So you don't necessarily need to get a permit for the electrical and the plumbing and the HVAC because it's covered in the new construction work. When we submit our plans to building and safety and try to get permits for that project, they're going to give us all the required permits necessary most of the time to completely produce that job. Very rarely, we might come up across a separate mechanical permit that needs to get pulled, or a retaining wall that might need to get pulled. You never know. But overall, we really have everything we need. On a remodel project, you may have to be very specific as to what permits you're requiring. So that way, when you go into that inspection process during the project, the inspector can make sure that the plans are following the permits and that the permits are allowing the plans to operate. Without proper permits, you risk severe consequences. Your project could be shut down, fines can be imposed, and worst of all, the safety and safety of others could be compromised. The things that happens a lot is when the city inspectors notice that a job is happening and that they don't have permits for that job. So what happened is the door is wide open, the flooring guys are in the job site installing floor, and you might be thinking as a homeowner, well, the city can't come into my house and they're not allowed to. Well, during working hours with the city, if they see that something is going on inside of the home and they are able to get into the home without breaking and entering or forcefully coming in, and they're just, the door is wide open and everyone's kind of working, and I'm sure you've seen job sites, a lot of the times that's just the case. So they can just welcome themselves in, and they can actually take note of all the work that they see that's going on in the house. Ah, well, the kitchen's getting redone, and this is getting redone, and that's getting redone, and this is getting redone. And they'll go back and they'll check their systems, and they'll see, they do have a permit for this, but they don't have a permit for that. And they have a permit for this, but they don't have a permit for that. So they can then file complaints for on behalf of the city to you, or they can request a comply, so they can make you go back to the city to get permits for it, even if no one was there and they didn't talk to anybody, and how dare they, and all that other stuff. Well, the city actually has the right to do that. So they can actually come into your home, and they can shut down the process. They can impose fees on you, and they can say the worst things. I mean, like, they can say, well, you weren't complying with safety standards, and, everyone here is in jeopardy. And even though most of the time that's never the case, but, one simple thing, a cord could be in the walkway of where people are walking to, and that's a tripping hazard. Remember, permits exist to protect both the community and yourself. Hey, since I've got you here, I just want to remind you, if you can, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment down below. It helps me tremendously, and I really appreciate your engagement in being a part of my community. So if you can, I'd really appreciate your help. Thanks for being here. And if you have any questions, anything you want to add to this video, please let me know down below. Let me know how I can help, and I'll be happy to get back to you. But how do we obtain permits? It's a relatively straightforward process. You'll need to submit your plans, pay the applicable fees, and adhere to specific guidelines. Depending on the complexity of your project, you may require various permits, such as building, electrical, plumbing, and zoning permits. Obtaining permits is honestly pretty, I don't want to say easy part of the process. It could be very, very difficult. A lot of the times, we have what's called runners, and runners are the people that are going on your behalf. The reason why we have them is because it may be pretty easy to get the permits, but it just takes so much time. I used to go to the building and safety office and get a permit, and it would take me 3, 4 hours just being in there all day. It feels like all day because you show up, you get a ticket, you're waiting an hour, then you're waiting this, then you're doing that, then you're paying for this, you're paying for that. So all of a sudden, you pay someone, a runner, to go for you and do it for you on your behalf, and it makes your ability to go do other things way easier. So usually it's a really simple thing. You go to the city, you tell them what you're doing, they tell you which forms to fill out. You fill out the forms, you give it to the desk. They do a plan check, so they'll make sure that what you're doing is what you're doing, and then they'll charge you fees, they'll give you the permit. It's that straightforward. But on new construction and on remodels, a lot of the times the city actually has a checklist of things that they need you to confirm for them. So those are called clearances, and they need to basically make sure that every single department in the whole entire city and throughout the area that you live in, that they are okay with the work that's getting done. So you've got Department of Water and Power and Gas and Parks and Rec and all these other different city entities all need to get on board and say, okay, that project, that is going to be okay to do what they want to do. Okay, cool. Yeah. And they clear it through the computer. So it's not always so easy. And having the right team in place to help you do it makes it just go so much more fast. Um, I've had so many people who, because I sell architecture and design services as my first step to getting into a project. And a lot of people will tell me, like, oh, well, you know, I can hire a draftsman and I can do this and I can do that and I can get it done. And you go, okay, well, you can do that. The question is, how much do you value your time and how much of that time that you are going to dedicate to it make it that much faster? I've seen developers who say the same exact thing to me, and it takes them double the amount of time just to start the project because they are not willing to spend the money to make it more efficient for themselves. And that's okay. A lot of the times, especially with developers, money is really made on the margin. So if you can save $10,000 up front, it might be worth it. You never really know. To each their own. Pulling permits grants you the peace of mind that you're following all the necessary rules and regulations. It also allows inspections to take place, ensuring that your project is up to code and is safe for everyone involved. The time and effort spent on pulling permits are well worth it in the long run. By doing so, you avoid costly mistakes, legal issues, and potential hazards. Plus, it sets a positive example for future projects and showcases your commitment to maintaining a high standard of quality and safety. Remember, obtaining a permit isn't not just a legal requirement, it's an ethical responsibility, prioritizing the well-being of your project, your team, and the community. Thank you for watching this video of the importance of pulling permits on your project. We hope we can shed some light on the essential steps. If you found it helpful, please subscribe to the channel for more informative content. Well, that's it for me on permits. If you got any questions, please let me know down below. I'll be happy to get to them. This was a really fun video. It means a lot to me. You guys stuck around to watch it. So I'll see you on the next one.